are naughty, not nice.
I want my money or else I'll kill you.
What to do when a stranger calls. Plus, have you lost anything on your holiday travels?
It's time for Secrets of the Lost and Found.
Tonight, a lost and found experiment.
All right, it's time to return this car. We've got a wallet inside the glove box, $40 inside.
What are your chances of getting it back?
The driver did not find your camera.
Finders keepers. Plus, he's doing his Christmas shopping the illegal way. Shoplifting.
What did you do with the money from boosting?
Caught on tape and making the craziest confession ever.
It wasn't me, you got the wrong guy.
Sticky fingers and baristas spilling the beans.
Baristas are basically drug dealers.
Dealing you a buzz or not. True tales from the Pumpkin Spice Latte League.
I'm giving decaf to people who wanted the extra caffeine. Absolutely.
Buzzkill. Tonight, just in time for Christmas.
So do I think like I'm getting fleeced and used? Of course.
True confessions. Here now, David Muir and Elizabeth Vargas.
Good evening. We hope you had a great Thanksgiving yesterday with your loved ones and didn't get too much in debt today on Black Friday, the official kickoff of Christmas shopping. Last year, an unbelievable $57 billion, that's right, billion with a B, was spent over Black Friday weekend.
Would you get me? That means a lot of money owed, though, now, with those credit card bills come due. Those calls you dread from debt collectors who will try anything to get their money back, even threatening murder in one extreme case. Rebecca Jarvis has this true confession.
How would you like to get a wake-up call like this?
Good morning, you son of a. Good morning.
You're listening to actual calls from debt collectors, some so outrageous they sound like somebody's getting punked. But they're no joke.
James, give me my money back. I want my money or else I'll kill you.
Are there good debt collectors out there? Probably. I've just never met any of them.
These messages were provided to 2020 by Florida attorney Billy Howard, who says he delights in suing debt collectors.
They are mob-like tactics.
You're going around getting loans, not paying a back.
And just like the mob, they make a lot of money, so they continue to do it.
Now you're on the way to jail.
Why do you think it is that collectors have such a bad reputation?
Well, nobody wants to be forced to pay anything. Let me know what you see, okay?
This collector, who uses the name John Anderson when making calls, agreed to share the secrets of his trade with 2020. We agreed not to divulge his real name or where he works.
Are you good at your job?
I think I'm probably one of the best in the world at it.
One of the best in the world. What is it that makes you good at this job?
Persistence. I don't want anybody to beat me.
Working out of his home office, Anderson has had a long career tracking down people who have skipped out on making their car payments.
Facebook's a big source of information.
Facebook.
And once he finds you, Anderson says he just wants to talk.
When you're in these conversations, what goes on?
You don't come at them aggressively initially. You come at them with an opportunity to settle the deal.
When it gets aggressive, how does it sound?
Said you were going to pay, you haven't paid. Why shouldn't I take you to court?
Anderson says he follows the law, pretty much.
Pretty much means that you can push the edges a little bit sometimes.
How would you push the edges?
You're not supposed to call after 9 o'clock at night. I might call at 9:15.
Would you call them names?
Not really.
Not really?
No, not, I mean, if they call me one, yeah, you could do that.
Anderson certainly sounds like a model debt collector, but you'll find out later if he's as squeaky clean as he claims. Meanwhile, plenty of other collectors have been caught blatantly crossing the line into illegal behavior. For instance, collectors definitely cannot pose as law enforcement officers.
This is Officer Mark Henry calling you from Federal Crimes of Investigation Department.
And of course, it's totally illegal to threaten arrest.
And I'm going ahead with a warrant for your arrest. See you in court.
We're not terrible people. The industry as a whole is a good thing.
Richard Doan, head of the debt collection trade group, says most collectors obey the law and provide an important public service to boot.
We return $52 billion to the economy every year as an industry. That is a major amount of money.
Jessica? Hi, I'm Rebecca Jarvis.
But 31-year-old Jessica Burke says the collector she encountered wasn't so scrupulous about following the rules. After moving to California, she lost her job as a private investigator. When she got behind on the payments on her used car, she says she ran head-on into a debt collector she will never forget. She says he just kept calling and texting.
15 text messages a day, and they weren't professional at all.
Can you read them to me?
Turn the car in or I send the sheriff. If you don't give it up, get yourself some bail money. Porky Pig, 200-pound slob in a double wide.
He called you Porky Pig?
Yep.
It's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, he was a really unpleasant person.
Jessica says she turned over the car to the finance company and repaid her overdue debt, a whopping total of $350. But in the meantime, she says the collector wasn't giving up.
At one point, he had told me that he was outside my house, and he's taking pictures of me right now. And I called the police. They came out and looked, and he wasn't there.
Did you ever ask him to stop?
I begged him to stop. There was times where I was crying on the phone, begging him to stop.
Through her entire ordeal, Jessica never met her collector face to face.
He knew all of these things about you.
Right.
But you've never seen him.
Never seen him.
But we have. 2020 tracked down the man who Jessica says made her life miserable. And wouldn't you know, it's that conscientious collector who told us earlier he never harasses debtors. Yep, John Anderson.
I wasn't really the one pursuing Jessica. The finance company pursued her more than I did.
Those nasty, threatening messages, he denies sending them.
Did you send her text messages?
No.
You didn't send her text
No,
messages?
Not one.
Who was it who sent her those text messages?
The collection manager at that particular car lot.
Jessica says you sent her text messages, calling her Porky Pig.
Porky Pig is not a word in my vocabulary. That's not something I would say.
Anderson says he did get angry after he claims Jessica got into a physical altercation with a woman he sent out to repo the car. And he concedes insults did fly on the phone, including remarks about her weight.
She said, well, I have a refund coming. I said, a tax refund or a Jenny Craig refund?
Meaning what?
Meaning that she was overweight.
Is it legal to throw an insult like that at someone when you're collecting?
Well, it's probably not the proper thing to do.
Jessica says that once you told her you were outside of her house taking pictures and that she was terrified.
That's not true at all.
You never said that.
No.
But Jessica had had enough. The former PI went on the offensive and sued Anderson.
You turned the tables back on him.
Yes, exactly.
Anderson never showed up in court, and a judge awarded Jessica more than $33,000. All of a sudden, she was the collector, and he was the one who had to pay up.
So now the tables have turned, and you owe Jessica money.
Some say I do.
Well, the law says you do. Why hasn't she gotten it?
Because I don't have it to pay her.
You don't have the money.
No. She's not collected a dime. She never will.
She'll never collect.
No.
Well, that's poetic.
As for Jessica, she says she can't be bothered chasing Anderson for the money. She's moving on with her life.
If I never see the money, that's not really what matters to me. I came out on top. I fought back. He can't bother me anymore.
So here's the question tonight. Do you have any horror stories about debt collectors? And how much did you spend today on Black Friday?
Too much. And let us know on Facebook and Twitter. Use the hashtag ABC2020. And we'll be right back with more True Confessions.
Next, we're taking you on a dropping spree.
We're going to drop some items off all around the city.
Deliberately losing things around the country. It's 2020's Lost and Found experiment. Do those departments give back or take home? Coming up.
An estimated 43 million people are traveling this Thanksgiving weekend, and that means a lot of stuff left behind on planes, trains, automobiles, and in hotel rooms. So we put Gio Benitez on a cross-country experiment to get some true confessions from all those lost and found departments and see if getting your stuff back is a lost cause.
It's the day after Thanksgiving, and in the mad rush of holiday travel, lots of us are losing more than our minds. We're losing our stuff, left and right, in rental cars, buses, hotel rooms, planes. It's time for Secrets of the Lost and Found. Come on. We're at New York's Grand Central Terminal, a train station that serves 700,000 a day. But deep in its bowels lies a treasure trove of lost and found items left behind by weary travelers.
Do you know what station?
So I just need you to fill out your information.
We have car keys, we have house keys.
Melissa Gizentanner heads up the department.
How many items do you think you're getting once a day?
On average, 100.
100 items per day?
Yes.
Where do you fit it all?
As you can see, we're busting out here. Shopping bags, the lunch bags and tote bags, backpacks, umbrellas up here.
The place is a pack rat's dream. There's everything from the predictable, coats, luggage, cell phones, to the salacious.
The strangest thing I've ever found here probably be a bag full of adult toys.
What did you think?
Wow. I was thinking whether or not the person was ever going to come back and be brave enough to claim it. And they came in yesterday and claimed it and walked away very happy as a happy customer. This is for the month of November.
Melissa says Grand Central goes the extra mile to reunite travelers with their property.
May I have your last name?
What did you lose? My mother's favorite umbrella.
But lost and found offices like Melissa's aren't always the rule, says travel industry insider Chris Elliott.
This is the busiest time of the year for travel. For some reason, when you're traveling, your brain falls out. You've left your laptop in the seat pocket. The plane lands at a large airport. Kiss it goodbye.
So really, what are the odds that you'll actually get anything you lose back? To find out, 2020 set out on a cross-country test of lost and found operations, deliberately losing all sorts of items at cities coast to coast. 22 items in all, from smartphones to watches to wallets. We start in New York, riding to the airport using the app-based car service Uber.
All right, so we're waiting for the Uber driver. He's about 5 minutes away. He might just leave something behind.
The driver drops me off, oblivious to the satchel with a brand new laptop and cell phone inside that I've ditched in the back seat.
He didn't notice. We'll see where it ends up. If it ends up in lost and found and back in our hands.
Getting them back will be a roll of the dice, since many car services don't have a formal lost and found procedure.
You're dealing directly with the owner, so it's up to the owner to have his or her own system to recover a lost item.
But isn't helping customers find lost valuables part of, well, customer service?
No one gets into business and says, I'm going to start with a lost and found system so that I can help my customers. So this is really an afterthought. You lost it, so it's your fault, right?
On with the journey, wheels down, and we're in the City of Angels. We're gonna drop some items off all around the city. I ditched 2 more items at this swanky hotel on Sunset Boulevard. One of them's kind of ordinary.
Drop it off here, right by the couch.
The other one? Not so much.
But sometimes people leave behind some crazy things, like a French maid costume. We're gonna leave it in our closet and see if the real maid finds it.
One thing the hotel probably won't do? Give me a call about it.
If you're leaving sex toys or something like a French maid costume, there's going to be some hesitation to contact you. This was clearly not used for normal hotel stay purposes, if you know what I'm saying.
Now we're off to the famed La Brea tar pits, where the fossils of prehistoric animals lie in the muck. But will we be able to recover Olaf, the adorable snowman character from Disney's Frozen?
Hi, everyone. I'm Olaf, and I like warm hugs.
We feel a little guilty leaving Olaf behind, but before we skip town, we still have to get rid of a couple more items.
All right, it's time to return this car. We've got a wallet inside the glove box, 40 bucks inside, and we've also got that camera in the trunk, so it's time to see what happens.
We're still on the road, but some items, they're already coming back to us. Our camera bag is almost immediately returned to us by an alert rental car employee. No word, though, about that wallet. But let's say your prized lost possession does make it to the lost and found. You'd better act fast. Unclaimed items can end up in the hands of the staff.
An employee will take the item home and will sell it on eBay or something like that.
But the vast majority of unclaimed property gets shipped out to a huge lost item warehouse like this one in Texas, where they eventually end up on the auction block.
After a certain amount of time, they're going to liquidate it. 6 months is pretty much the cutoff time.
Wonder how we'll fare in Washington, D.C., a city known for its so-called Beltway bandits. We're back on the road. We try to smuggle a wallet into the Capitol building. But it looks like there is actually some honesty in Washington. We get a call from the Capitol Police.
I found a wallet in the Senate. I hope to see you soon. Bye.
Thanks, Uncle Sam. Philadelphia, home of the Liberty Bell. Here we declare our independence from this tourist ID pouch with a couple of Jacksons stuffed inside. But this really is the city of brotherly love. We later get a ring saying our pouch has been recovered.
We'd like to get this stuff back to you.
Back in New York City, we lose items in a couple more Uber cars, and finally, our grand cross-country lost item spree is over. So let's recap. In 10 days on the road, we lost a total of 22 items in 6 different cities. So far, only 4 items have been recovered. Looks like it's going to take some effort on our part to get the other 18 back.
Timing is everything. The moment that you see something is missing or lost, don't wait.
Hi there. Just wondering if you have a lost and found department?
So we hit the phones and the computer. Losing stuff is easy. Getting it back is a journey of its own. In most cases, it was impossible to get a hold of a live person.
Please leave a detailed description of the lost item.
Often our only option was to fill out an online form, like this one for an iPad we left in an airplane. A week later, we received this discouraging reply. And a bad news voicemail about an expensive camera I left in a taxi.
I just wanted to let you know that the driver did not find your camera.
But our bad luck starts turning to good fortune when I ring up that Hollywood hotel about those things we left behind.
I stayed there Monday the 10th.
And bingo!
So you have the costume and the speaker.
They say they've got our items. They even send it in express mail, just in time for the holidays. Our hard work helps increase our recovery rate. To date, we've been able to recover 11 out of 22 of our lost items. Still, half remain at large.
I think a lot of people might say, you know what? Those people don't even care about my lost item.
I think to differ. We do care.
People shouldn't give up right away.
Don't give up. No.
File that report.
File that report, yes.
Because chances are
it will show up.
What Melissa doesn't know, we put her to the test too, leaving behind a little 2020 souvenir at Grand Central and filing a lost report claim of our own.
There it is.
Just need ID and have you fill out my tag, please.
You found it.
It's a 2020 lost and found Thanksgiving miracle. If only getting all of our other stuff back was so easy. We're especially keeping our fingers crossed that poor Olaf makes it out of the tar pit. No sign of him, last we've heard.
So, have any of your belongings ever ended up at Lost and Found? And more importantly, did you get them back?
Kind of bummed by how little we got back there. Let us know on Facebook and Twitter. Use the hashtag ABC2020. Elizabeth and I will be right back.
Next, baristas spilling the beans, the coffee beans.
This lady was telling me, you don't know what you're doing. And so I went ahead, took the caramel drizzle, and I wrote the letters F-U on top.
Does that sound like holiday cheer to you? Coffee Shop Confessions, coming up.
Well, here's a question for you tonight. Can you smell it in your favorite coffee shop, that pumpkin latte spice, the special peppermint blend? And what about those Christmas carols being piped in even before you've digested your Thanksgiving leftovers? Well, tonight here, baristas bearing it all about what goes on behind the counter. Here now, Nick Watt.
The holidays are coming. I can tell just by visiting the coffee shop. Chestnut praline, cinnamon hazelnut, peppermint mocha, winter warmers. But hold off on the caramel brulee eggnog gingerbread frappuccino. I made that one up. Hold off until you've heard our insiders, our baristas coming clean, tell us how to get the most out of our holiday fix.
Baristas are basically drug dealers.
Former barista Haley and current barista Max say you and I are the addicts.
So when the, junkie comes to get his fix, he's not going to be super polite. He's just really focused on getting what he's there for.
So Max and Haley created this video. It's a parody of I Dreamed a Dream from the musical Les Miserables.
Wait your turn and stay
They call themselves Les Misera Baristas.
It was all my pent-up sadness and frustration, and I took it to a creative outlet.
There's one instance in which this lady was telling me, you don't know what you're doing. And so I went ahead, took the caramel drizzle, and I wrote the letters F you on top.
So, if you've been rude, check your pumpkin spice latte for hidden messages. Then there's this guy.
I had a customer threaten to stab me one time.
Let's call him Bill. He still works at Starbucks and writes a blog called Your Barista Hates You. He insists on full disguise because he fears he'll get fired for spilling the beans.
Our number one tool in the arsenal is definitely the decaf button.
They'll decaf you when you ordered caf.
Just out-and-out rudeness is a quick way to get a decaf shot.
They will steal your buzz away from you.
I've given decaf to people who wanted the extra caffeine. Absolutely.
See, the problem for a barista, though, is that you're out in the open. You're not back in the kitchen where you can spit in the soup.
If someone's being particularly, rude, you can add little extra charges. Like normally, if you say, I want a latte with caramel, vanilla, and chocolate.
The barista could charge you just once for a wee dash of each, or if you're unpleasant, charge you 3 times.
That's like $1 difference, at least.
So, you're being nice, you're not going to get decaf, but how do you get the most caffeine possible, maximum buzz for your buck? Apparently not with this.
The Frappuccinos are mostly ice, very little coffee. Our profit margin on Frappuccinos is huge.
And when it comes to lattes at Starbucks, just order the medium. The large doesn't have more caffeine, just more steamed milk. Whatever your choice may be, we were told to go for a light roast. Dark roast has less caffeine.
Dark roast, less caffeine.
Executive coffee chef Jeremy Gersey, yes, that's now a thing, knows his roasts. According to Jeremy, iced coffee can be the most potent.
This is my pride and joy. This is a Kyoto 8-hour cold filter drip.
That is delicious. Oh my goodness, there's texture, it's kind of, oh yeah.
Like a fine bourbon.
Clearly, I'm now an expert, but the real experts, the baristas we talk to, they say you, the customer, really have no idea what you're drinking.
There are the select few who are truly coffee aficionados, but the vast majority of my customers actually don't really know anything.
Remember that Folgers commercial from the 80s, from before we got all fancy pants about a cup of joe?
We're secretly replacing the fine coffee usually served here with rich, dark, sparkling Folgers crystals.
We did something similar at local favorite Phil's in Santa Monica. We lined up a cup of supermarket standard, 5 cents a cup, a premium Java from a well-known coffee chain, $2 or $3, and a third, the most expensive coffee on earth. It's a blind tasting. Are you like a coffee type guy?
I drink coffee every day.
Patrick guessed this is the most expensive.
Price confident. Yeah. Oh, man.
It's the cheapest. Patrick, we have a total failure.
Oh, that's great.
I hope I don't get this wrong.
I hope you do. Take your time, swill it around, do whatever you need to do. Ashley guessed the coffee chain coffee was the most expensive. It's not far from it. So maybe we really don't know what we're drinking. And what is that mystery most expensive coffee on earth?
This.
It's the expensive one, obviously.
$75 a cup.
This one?
Is that coffee that the bean comes out the monkey butt?
Nate, clearly a connoisseur, was almost right. Indonesian civet cats eat coffee berries they ferment inside and out poops the beans. Nate, by the way, nailed the taste test, but still thinks that maybe coffee chain coffee isn't quite worth it.
So do I think like I'm getting fleeced and used? Of course. But will I continue to do it? Of course.
The Barista Guild of America told us since the invention of coffee drinking by the Ethiopians, making coffee for another person has been a deeply caring and personal act. This is a real organization, by the way. We use service skills to help us navigate challenging customer interaction. As for Starbucks, one of the most admired companies in the world, it told us it is appalled by Bill the Barista's claims of decaffing rude customers. The behavior described would not be tolerated and is not reflective of the character of our 300,000 partners around the world. How do you get on your barista's good side?
Know what you want before you get to the register.
Good tip. And speaking of tips,
tipping also helps.
Oh, yes.
Like if you put in that $1, we will remember you.
Saying "How are you back?" is really nice.
And by the way, our bearded confessor tells us that if you order a coffee on a holiday and tell a barista, "Too bad you have to work today," you most definitely will get decaf. So don't be a dope. You might even get a treat, even sweeter than 3 pumps of peppermint.
People I liked, I would reward, give them a little extra whipped cream or draw a little smiley face on their cup.
Next, he's stealing his Christmas wish list.
You're the Mozart, the LeBron James of the business. You can say that.
Our most honest confession ever from one of the country's top shoplifters. Tricks of his trade coming up.
We'll file this under how not to do your holiday shopping by shoplifting. Matt Gutman got some true confessions from the king of the 5-finger discount. Don't believe the crazy stories he's about to tell? Well, then just watch him get caught on tape for a very different kind of toy story. What the stores don't want you to know.
'Tis the season for shopping, and as long as there have been shops, there have been shoplifters. But they're often lacking in style. This guy clumsily stuffs a chainsaw down his pants. Risky. While these two openly pick up a table and are anything but stealthy as they walk right out the door. These fools are the foot soldiers of the 5-finger discount. And then there are the princelings, Michael Pallara for one. There's Pallara now. Police say this unassuming 46-year-old has strolled out of hundreds of retailers over his career, carrying merchandise worth millions. You're the Mozart, the LeBron James of the business. You can say that.
Pallara sat down with us for an interview, well, when he wasn't jumping out of his seat. At first, he's coy.
This is off the record.
After all, you don't perfect the gift of the grab by giving up the goods.
So what did you do with the money from boosting?
I'm not telling.
Let me ask you this, is it a living?
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
How much you managed to take out of stores in your career?
Wasn't me, you got the wrong guy.
The wrong guy? Really? Then how did a man who runs a small water filter business manage to travel the world from Easter Island to China to Africa, always in style? He says he's just got a whole lot of frequent traveler miles to burn.
See, I don't know why you guys are mixing this travel with this boosting. It's like wrong.
But the denials started to break down, and one of 2020's most honest confessors emerged. Once we got out some props and asked him, hypothetically of course, to demonstrate how he hid merchandise in large boxes to get it out of a store.
Look, the box is open. You could put some DVDs in that box. How's that? No, you're doing it kind of wrong there. 2, 4, 6. You could probably put, allegedly they said that I stole so many. Leapsters, 2, 4, 6. You could probably get 6 Leapsters in there.
Watch the maestro at work. There he is on store security camera footage in a Florida Kmart. He chooses a large box, this $35 baby car set. Finding a quiet spot, he ditches the toy inside. Then this is where the money is made. Pallara is now stuffing electronic gaming pads into that empty box, 3 or 4 of them worth $100 each. His accomplices keep a watch out. Paid sidekick Travis Simpson and, believe it or not, Pallara's own mother, Margaret. Next, he reseals the box with tape to make it look untouched. Finally, Mom and Travis Simpson check out, up to $400 in toys hidden in this box. They pay just $35 and head out home free. You see, Pallara had shoplifting down to a science.
There's only 5 methods. Either it's on you, either if you're a female, it's in the purse, either it's in a bag, or it's in a shopping cart, or it's in a box.
And that stuffed box was his forte, but making thousands of dollars of merchandise disappear right in front of the cashier takes some sleight of hand. And 2 key props. Number 1, a teddy bear to make him seem warm and fuzzy.
You buy a teddy bear. Allegedly, you get a little cashier. Oh, it's so cute. She'll never dream.
Prop number 2, a sweaty bottle of cold water that he grabs to hand to the cashier.
Hand them the water so their hand is wet.
Why would the hand need to be wet?
She's gonna wipe it down.
That's important because he doesn't want her to touch the stuffed box, otherwise she might realize it's way too heavy.
Then you lean over and let her scan the box. She's not gonna touch anything. She's still wiping her hand.
It doesn't work at this Toys R Us, and the cashier does lift the box herself. Knowing the jig is up, he heads out the door. She then opens it up to find 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes of Legos hidden inside.
How much do you think he netted that day that you followed him?
Tens of thousands.
Sergeant Rich Rossman of the Broward County Sheriff's Office caught on to one of Polara's shopping sprees.
He took a small little coffee maker off the shelf and stuffed it with electronic toothbrush heads, which are about $20 a piece. Wow. And walked out with $300 or $400 when the bid actually rang up for $20 or $30. Net profit of about $300. That was store 1 of nearly 2 dozen that day.
Rossman and his investigators tracked Polara all around the country for months. He tells me, for a crook, Polara had quite the work ethic.
He was up bright and early and stole from dawn to the evening hours. So I had to call the wife and say, I don't know when I'm coming home.
Till they finally hauled him in. They spent hours alternately interrogating him.
Who's the easiest to steal from?
They all are. I could walk out of any place.
And flattering him.
You're good at what you were doing.
I know.
And exposing his Achilles heel, his ego. Polara can't help bragging about his extravagant exploits.
Hey, how many states do you think you've been in working?
1 year I hit the whole 50.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, the whole 50.
Rossman admits he only caught this veteran shoplifter after Polara made one rookie mistake. He used a frequent customer card at the many Toys R Us stores he hit, allowing the authorities to track his movements.
In your 11 years, how much do you think you've taken from Toys R Us?
Probably a whole store full.
It's only now that cops start getting the full scope of his enterprise. Much of his retail booty was sold through fences, but some he sold himself online.
How much have you sold on eBay?
I have no idea. You come up with a number. I don't know.
We know. We know.
Well, tell me so then I can.
$1 million.
Oh, wow. Is that good or bad?
It's a lot of money.
In fact, when they caught him, he was planning another trip.
I'm going on a cruise. I'm flying to Anchorage and picking up the cruise from there.
He's got the nerve to ask his interrogators to cancel his ticket for him. But instead of Alaska, he went to jail. Ultimately, Polara served just 2 years.
My nickname in jail, everyone has a jail name. I was Toys R Us.
What about his mother? She was sentenced to probation for acting as his lookout and now is sitting off camera during the interview.
I hate him and I love him.
It's Italian love.
After 2 years in the clink, Polara relishes his freedom. He wouldn't say where he spends his time these days, but when I asked him what the easiest stores had been to hit, he gave us perhaps a hint.
I can't tell you because you don't know. I might be in those.
Next, timber!
Look at that!
Confessions from your Christmas tree seller. When to buy it, what to buy, and the truth about those old wives' tales.
Put aspirin in the water or sugar.
No.
Next on True Confessions.
You know, it seems the minute those Thanksgiving dishes are washed, the race is on for so many to find the perfect Christmas tree. But how do you make sure you don't end up with one of those Charlie Brown trees? Turns out there is a science to it, when to get it and how to make sure the tree you get lasts the longest inside your home. Paula Fair is braving the cold tonight. She's with the experts.
Nothing says Christmas more than trimming the tree. But sometimes the quest to find that tree,
There it is,
can be as deeply religious as the holiday itself.
Dad, did you bring a saw?
Christmas classics have poked fun at this annual adventure. But it's not funny when the fur in question is destined for your living room. The stakes are too high.
I think it needs me.
And no one wants to be ripped off with a Charlie Brown disaster. Just this past week, the town of Reading, Pennsylvania went all bah humbug when this tree went up in the town square.
It just reminds me of Charlie Brown.
Who picked that?
There was a squirrel right now looking for a place to live in the winter. It won't even go into this tree.
Wow, look at all these trees. So tonight, listen to the pros of the pine.
Oh, that is
Wizards of the Winter Wonderland.
We're surrounded by trees. How many are on this property?
I haven't actually counted them all, believe it or not.
That would take a long time.
Yes, it would. But there's over 100,000 trees growing on the property.
Jamie Jones of the Jones Family Farm in Shelton, Connecticut, is the 6th generation of his family of tree growers.
Balsam fir, Fraser fir, Douglas fir.
And Jones says the most common question he hears is, where are the big ones? But that's exactly where most people go wrong. Tip number 1, size matters.
They pick a tree out that's just a little bit too big.
Clark?
Just like the Griswolds.
Do you think there's enough room for the angel?
It's a common story. They get it home, the trees are all wrapped up, they unwrap it, and whoop.
But for New Yorkers who don't want to go to the forest and cut down a tree, the forest actually comes to them. Every year starting this weekend, hundreds of stands appear overnight like magic on the city streets, as a most unique subculture of tree sellers descends on the sidewalks.
We have to teach people a lot.
So, Douglas fir.
He's known simply as Francois. New Yorkers know him by name, and believe it or not, most folks here buy their trees from someone just like him, a man who for 10 years now journeys to the city all the way from Quebec just for the season and becomes a part of the family for folks in the neighborhood.
Thank you, Francois.
Francois is definitely part of my holiday ritual.
This is me and Francois last year. This is a yearly tradition.
Francois is the focus of a new documentary called Tree Man.
Thank you.
He sells trees 24/7 every day until Christmas, living out of a van parked on Broadway.
my darling.
When is the best time to buy? Tip number 2, don't delay.
All the best trees will be gone. I always tell people early buyers are happy buyers.
And you won't believe how he figures out what to charge. Tip number 3, it's not just the height, it's the weight.
A heavy tree is a healthy tree. It's as simple as that. That tree is just gorged with water. That's heavy. It's full of water. It's packed. Dry wood means a dead tree. We don't sell dead trees.
Francois' trees cost up to $350. There is a way to get a bargain, but first you need to know a couple of tricks of the tree trade. The ones that look good only from the front, Francois refers to them as the one-sider. Then there are damaged or malformed trees. Francois doesn't like to call them ugly. He calls them Mr. Personality.
They're gonna get a steal of a deal.
But whatever people buy, pets can poo-poo it all. Like on these videos posted on YouTube.
Why did you pee on the Christmas tree?
Brooklyn tree seller Charles Pokel has the answer. Tip number 4, pet lovers love the blue spruce.
The best tree for them would be a blue spruce because it has these very sharp needles. And so the cat, once they find out the needles are sharp, they want nothing to do with that tree anymore.
Pokel suggests spritzing the needles with water, but all tree men